Teresa Waltz, and I've written a book about Johnson County, Indiana, and also about Connecticut. It's a love story with a little bit of a paranormal twist, and it has a lot to do with farming and our everyday perils that we have in life, sicknesses in the family, and so forth, and how a person who thinks that there's no more time or ability to find a love in midlife finds love, and it's a good story about Johnson County, Indiana, and the farming community.
Hey, my name is Andrea Smith, and I'm a member of Sisters in Crime. And the book that we are selling today is Racing Can Be Murder. It's an anthology of mystery short stories set around the Indianapolis 500. 19 stories by 19 different authors, and none of them are the same. There's the futuristic snake pit ball story. There's stories about the past, and there's also a story about the Indy 500 Festival princesses. So if you're a race fan and a mystery fan, you get the best of both worlds in this particular anthology. And there's also some really neat facts about the Indy 500 interspersed between each story.
My name's John Bauer. Since the day my wife and I met, we've enjoyed taking rides in the country. And after I turned 50, I decided to take the camera with me and take pictures of the interesting things that we've seen. So far, we've got 5 photography books, and we've been through every city and town in Indiana. 2,099 of them on the state map, and we've been to every one of them.
I'm Carrie Young, and we're the authors of Ghost Guide to Indianapolis. We've had a lifelong interest in the paranormal, and we were directors of a local ghost group, and so we got access to a lot of places that normal folks don't get access to. And Lori said, people would like to know about this. So that formed the idea for the book, and we just wrote the book. And what makes ours a little different is we not only go to the site, we tell you the history about it, the ghost stories, and then we investigated it with ghost hunting equipment and cameras, and then we tell you what we found or what we didn't find.
My name is Joe Scavarine, and I have here his memoirs of World War II, and also great, which is the story of people, some of the famous people from Hancock County, Indiana, a local history book. I've written 4 or 5 other local history books too, and I've written a couple of magazine articles and done some African American history.
Hi, I'm Robinette Appleton, and I wrote Yes I Can, and I illustrated it also. It's a children's book, and it's a positive outlook on a visually impaired child who takes on challenges throughout her life and overcomes them. It is a true story. And I wrote the book because I taught elementary school for so many years and loved children's books, and I wanted to get into that.
I didn't get to meet you, but I saw you
would illustrate and write books.
Worked for the Indianapolis News as a correspondent, and I covered the murder case of these 3 men who were killed when I was a little girl. And in 1992, I started writing a book about them, and I partnered up with a co-writer. And after less than a year, I felt like I knew who killed these guys, so I sent everything to the TV show Unsolved Mysteries. They agreed to come out and reenact. But the most amazing thing about these men is they were having a contest to see who could have the most girlfriends in 1 year. And police wanted me to get as many of these girlfriends on my show as I could. Well, to make a long story short, 2 weeks before we were getting ready to film for Unsolved Mysteries, remember, I just knew who killed these people. I got a call from the getaway driver in these murders, and the getaway driver told me that I had everything right with the name of the killer. It wasn't who I thought it was in Florida. It was really my co-writer. I've been writing the book with the killer. And that's where my book begins, and it just tells the true story of how I went to the police, they didn't believe me, went to the prosecutors, they didn't believe me, and I was just obsessed with getting my co-writer in jail because I knew that he killed these people and had gotten away with it for 25 years, and I believe that he was a serial killer. So this book just tells the true story of how I spent every day of my life for 4 years. They got him in jail, he was arrested, indicted, and after he died, I knew that was my story. And then my next book after that, that's my journalism and how I got my license as a private detective. And then I told my personal testimony. It's a Christian book, and it's about healing, supernatural healing and miracles, and people who are just have a lot of faith, and it tells my story, and just got a lot of good stories with there. And then after that, someone approached me and asked me to write a book about their aunt, who is 93 years old, lived on the east side of Indianapolis, and her husband she was head of the USO in Indianapolis in 1942, and her husband was in the Navy, and he wrote her a letter every day for 4 years, and she saved them all in a shoebox, and they asked me to write a book about it. So we wrote the book last year, released it in October, and as soon as we got the book out, we got it. So it's just, if you like the movie The Notebook, you love that. Then my little girl is Raquel. I do a lot of traveling. She's usually with me today, but she's not here today. But anyway, I wanted her to travel with me, so we produced this book, which is for little kids on teaching their little ones on how to help the mom around the house, and it's nonfiction. And this is my brand new release. My husband owns a publishing company here, and we decided to publish our first book by another author, and this is here today. It's called Olivia Decker and the City Above the Clouds.
My name is Sandra L. Hardeman, and I'm in the Stories from the Heartland for Children. I wrote 3 stories for children, and I have 2 or 3 chapters of my young adult mystery that is going to be published soon by Music and Publishing. And I started writing. I really don't know why. It's just something I've always wanted to do, and I just started doing it. I used to paint all the time, and I stopped painting and I started writing.
My name is Stephen Lustig. I'm the 12 Writers from Heartland, Indiana Authors 2007. I wrote a short story in there called The Best Band, and I'm currently working on a novel. I haven't published it.
Okay, my name is Odette Chase, and I grew up in France during World War II under the Nazi occupation. And when the war was over, I went to work in an American Air Force base where I met my husband. And when I came to the States, and after I had my children, I had nothing else to say in my head, so I started to tell my war stories. I used to put them to sleep with my war stories. And after a while, I didn't stop. I was didn't want to hear anything about it. But years later, when I went to the university, my son called me one time on the phone, and he said, "Mom, do you remember all those war stories you used to tell us when you were little kids?" And I said, "Well, yes, I do." So, but could you put them on a piece of paper in which way you can, and I will put them together, and it will be my first novel. And that's the way I started to write my stories again. World War II took me a long time, and when I was writing them, I forgot that I was supposed to give that back to my son to write his first novel. I kept writing it. It was like a therapy. And when I remembered to give that back to him, I said, well, this is not his book, it's mine. It's mine to write. And it's the way this little book was created. It's my book.
Hi, I'm Heather Rice, and I am in the Inspiration from the Heartland book, and I wrote 2 stories. One's called Justice Prevails, and one is A Journey to Forgiveness. And I became a writer because I had an extremely hard childhood, very tragic. My mother was murdered when I was 15, and the state of Indiana executed one of my stepfathers. And that's the reason I write, is to show others that they can overcome anything in life.